So apparently firefighters just fight fires. This is a myth that I've heard several times. Let me stop that myth and tell you exactly what we do as firefighters in and around our community. Yes guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Cameron and I'm currently a firefighter here in the UK if you didn't know already. If you are new around here, make sure you check all my other videos because we give you guys kind of advice for my aspiring firefighters and just people in general that kind of just want to know about the fire service and what we get up to on a day to day. If you haven't seen that video, watch what our day looks like. I'll link it here. And the feedback of that video has been absolutely amazing. Like, I think that's been like my most highest performing video since I've uploaded it so far. So it clearly shows that what I'm doing, you guys are enjoying, which is good. As you can probably tell, we're somewhere a little bit different today than the garage. We're actually in the car. So I actually can't get in the garage at the moment because the door's bust, so I thought why not just come in my car and do the video. I suppose it doesn't really matter where I do the video, it switches it up a little bit for you guys as well rather than me just sitting down with a white screen behind me. We got to improvise. I could have easily went home and just thought, nah, forget it, I don't even want to make the video today, but I thought why not just come out, improvise and get it done. Now in today's video it's quite an important message which I want to point across to a lot of you guys really. Like I said at the start, a lot of people think that we just fight fires or we go to fires as firefighters or we just train. We actually do a lot more than that. And what I'm going to talk about in this video is what we do to help our community. So if you didn't know already, fire stations usually have their own patch. We do in the brigade that I work for. And if you don't know what a patch is, just imagine it's literally like looking down on a map. There's like you've got your patch around your fire station. And that is kind of, I guess, your community, where you'll do your kind of school visits, which we'll talk about later, things such as home visits, which is another thing I'll talk about later. So yeah, this patch is kind of your community and where you will mainly attend your calls. Now of course you can get called onto another station's patch if the incident requires an extra appliance, for example, or they're not at their station because maybe they're out doing training or assessment, so you have to cover their patch as well. It gets a little bit complicated, but that's just to keep it very basic. Before we get in the video properly, I just want to give you guys some really exciting news which I've got coming up. If you're not new around here, you probably already know what I'm going to talk about. However, if you are new, listen up very carefully. For those of you who are on my newsletter and who have downloaded my Firefighter exercise plan, which is completely free, you've probably had an email from me explaining about what I'm thinking about dropping in the next couple of weeks. And like I've said before, this is information which I've never spoke about on this channel, information which is of high value, and I do believe that if you listen and apply the knowledge which I'm giving you, your chances of becoming a firefighter will improve massively. Now, I've also mentioned that I will only be releasing this to 25 people. Those of you who are on my newsletter will actually get this earlier than everyone else. You'll get this a day before I release the video on YouTube. So if you do want to join my newsletter and this is something that you want to take serious, you really kind of want to take your dream job as being a firefighter serious and you're willing to invest in yourself as a person, make sure that you join my newsletter. I'll leave a link to it in the description. After the first 25 copies have gone, then I probably won't release it, and if I do release it, it'll be going at normal price. So who knows, I'll see how I'm feeling. I just want to make sure that the 25 people that have got it kind of have priority and they get their heads up, which they fully deserve. If you've got in early, and I've had people messaging me saying that they can't wait to get in early, they don't want to miss this, so the competition is quite high for this. I've got over 200 people now on my newsletter, and if you believe I'm only releasing to 25 people. When you watch the video I drop, the package that I'm offering may have already gone, so you might not even have a chance to get it. So definitely make sure you sign up to my newsletter. It's completely free, no charges involved. All I require is your email, because that is where I'll be sending out the package and also exclusive content. But yeah, enough about me rambling on, let's get into the video. So the first thing I want to talk about is safe and well visits. I've mentioned these in previous videos before. Some of you guys will probably already know what one is, some of you won't. So I'll just describe really what it is. So a safe and well visit is a visit which we do as firefighters. We go out to people's homes, for example, mainly to put up smoke alarms if they haven't got any already. If they have got smoke alarms, then we still go out and do this. We have like a safe and well form, which is kind of like a bit of a questionnaire which we'll go through with the family or with the occupier of the home. And this is just kind of like a safety check. This is when like we'll go around the property, make sure there's no fire hazards, and if there are fire hazards, then we'd advise the occupier ways in which they can prevent this from happening or ways to get around currently what their habits are. For example, we highly advise that you keep a mobile phone with you next to your bed when you go to sleep. We also advise that you take your house keys or whatever keys you've got in a safe location. So in the middle of the night, if it's pitch black, you haven't got to run around and kind of if you do have a fire in your house, you haven't got to think, where are my keys to get out? You automatically know exactly where they are, so you can get your keys and get out. Now, these visits are great for everybody that we go to. Even if you're someone that thinks, you know what, I'm pretty safe, I feel like I haven't got any fire hazards in my house. I bet when you get a firefighter or a few firefighters out to see the property and to talk with you about fire safety, there will probably be things that you think, oh crap, I wish I knew that, or I forgot about that. So these visits aren't just for the vulnerable, they're for everybody across the board. Now, doing things like safe and well visits are brilliant because the information we get, we then go back and put it on our system at the station. So we know, for example, if we do ever attend that property, we'll have information on, for example, who lives there, the contact number, any disabilities they've got, anything that we need to be aware of. Maybe they've got some medical oxygen, which can obviously be a hazard for us. Maybe they're bed bound and they actually can't get up on their own, they need assistance. And these are all kind of little bits of information which help us on the truck as we go into the incident. Because, for example, if we're going to a fire where we know a lady is bed bound, for example, we then can start thinking in our minds as firefighters, right, what are the risks that's going to happen? Where is the bed? Is anyone else in the property with her? So when you know something like that, you kind of know that there's going to be a person in the house who is unable to get out of the house. And of course, the more visits we do as firefighters in our community, the better knowledge we have around everybody in the community and the more chance of going to one of these incidents and already knowing information about the property. These are completely free as well, like we don't charge, these are not like charged to the public at all. The smoke alarms that we fit are completely free. So if you're watching this and you're in the UK and you haven't got smoke alarms in your house, then this is your sign to phone up your station and just say, like, can you come and do a safe and well visit for me, please? It probably takes between 5 and 10 minutes. So it's not any hassle and it's definitely worth doing. And if you have got smoke alarms in your house, we recommend testing them once every week. We call it Test It Tuesday. So a little mental reminder there in your head, every Tuesday, just press them, give them a test, make sure they work, because you never know. I think a lot of them have got battery life of, let's say, 10 years, but it probably never is going to last 10 years. And if it does, you're very lucky. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about, which is what we do as firefighters help our community, is something which a lot of you have probably seen on, for example, Facebook or social media, is when a fire station does an open day. And if you don't know what an open day is, it's where the station kind of puts on activities for the members of public to come in. It's usually, in the summer where it's a lot warmer. Maybe there'll be some exercises, maybe you'll get a few of the guys cutting up cars or putting out a fire in like a shipping container, which you may have seen. Sometimes there's like rides, little mini rides for the kids. Normally always there's an ice cream van as well. Our station that I work for actually done one of these last year, but I wasn't in for it, so I didn't actually attend it. But the lads on station that I work with actually put one of these out for the community, and apparently it was really good. All the money raised for these events goes to charity, so it's non-profitable, it goes straight to charity, and it's kind of, I guess, a win-win for everyone because we get members of the community that want to come in. Mainly it's children, but you do get adults as well. And then when the adults come in, or the kids, sometimes obviously the kids want to sit on the fire engine, take photos, things like that. But then it's a good chance for us then to talk with the local community to see where people are based, maybe see if they've got any concerns, because you may get some adults that come and say, oh my God, I haven't even got any smoke alarms, and then we can arrange a safe and well visit, which is what I just spoke about. So yeah, open days are brilliant and they're very good for community and kind of bringing everybody together on like a fun, enjoyable day. Now the third thing I want to talk about is something called SSRIs, which stands for Site Specific Risk Information. Now I've also spoke about this on a previous video. I know I have, I don't know what video it was, but I've definitely spoke about this. So an example of an SSRI would be us going to, say, a block of flats, so a high-rise block. Say if it has 10 floors or 10 stories. Now obviously every patch on the station has their own kind of blocks which they are required to attend and to familiarise themselves with. Now depending on the risk of the actual SSRI will depend on how frequent we do it, every 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 years, because you'll find a lot of these blocks, some of them do stay the same as such, but then it's good to keep going back because things can change quite quickly without you knowing. So these kind of visits are familiarisation, especially for us as crews, because if we ever get an incident on a high rise, it's obviously very high risk. So we need to know where the hydrants are, where the gas mains are, where the sprinkler systems are, the isolation valves, the electric. We need to know the best access as well, obviously. We need to know where things are, because the last thing you want to do in the middle of the night is turn out to one of these incidents and you're just faffing around because you don't know where the hydrant is. But this is why we do the SSRIs, because we've got a lot more information on these high risk buildings. Obviously this information is recorded on a sheet that we fill out, and then same as the Safe and Wells, we'll then go back to station, update it on the system, so then everybody, I guess, in the brigade that you work for has access to what the site is, where everything is. Normally now we get a kind of bird's eye view picture of the map, and we can kind of drag and drop where all the hydrants are and stuff, so it's good for like a visual aspect of where everything's going to be. Now obviously it's not just the hydrants etc that we look for, it's things such as how many flats there are, how many floors there are, whether there's cladding, because that can obviously be a high risk, and you know, like where things are in the building, which are kind of good to know. The PIBs, which is the premise information box, this is usually located in a cupboard on the ground floor, so it gives you just information about the premise and better insight into what is going on at this site. Now the fourth and final thing now which you want to talk about, which is what we do for the community, is school visits. Now I actually enjoy doing the school visits. I feel like they're excellent. It's good because you are going into a place with children who don't necessarily know a lot about fire safety. This may be sometimes their first introduction to a firefighter and how to keep safe at home with fire. Whether or not their parents have spoke about it with them, you never know. So I always find these visits interesting because you will go in and you'll ask questions, and then some people will know, but then some of the kids won't have a clue. So in our visit, we've got like a presentation which we go through with the children. It's very good, it's very like interactive, very good as well for the teachers. The teachers actually find it quite good as well. So we'll just go through the presentation, and for example, I know one of the slides is there was like a kitchen, and it will have loads of hazards on, and it's things like the kids will come up to the board and kind of drag and drop where they think the hazards are, and then we'll say, why is that a hazard? And then for example, there could be a kettle plug which is by the sink, for example, or there could be a portable heater with clothes drying on top of it. And there's loads of little PowerPoints like this, obviously one on the road as well, like road safety, because that's another thing. It's not just fire and fire hazards, it's obviously road safety. As firefighters, as you know, we don't just attend fires, we do go to RTCs as well. Relating back to the first bit I said at the start, we don't just attend fires, get that out of your head. But yeah, I do honestly believe that these school visits have like a much higher impact than maybe some of the other things that we do, just because that the kids are so young that they listen really like closely, which I find is really good. Sometimes you may go to adults when you do the visits, and I don't know, they always think, some of them always think that they know it all, or oh yeah, I know that, but it just goes in one ear and out the other ear, because it's a bit like me. I'm a bit the same. If someone says something to me and I already think I know it, then I kind of agree with it, but I don't actually take it in. Whereas the children, it's their first time hearing it, so their attention span is like right on it, it's proper on it. And I think that every kid out there, I know I definitely did, if I can get the photo, I'll attach a photo here. Every kid loves a fire engine and kind of firefighters, and I suppose it's a lot of kids' dreams to be a firefighter. So yeah guys, that was just quickly 4 things which we do as firefighters to help our community. Of course there are many more, but I didn't want to make the video too long or I should get way too bored of me. I'm pretty sure you're probably already bored of my voice at this point in the video anyway. But yeah, if you have made it in this video, I really do appreciate it, as obviously you're giving me your time and that's all I can ask for. If you haven't already, make sure that you sign up to my newsletter. Again, I'm going to leave a link in the description. If you've already signed up, if you've already downloaded the Firefighter exercise plan, don't worry, you're already involved. However, if you haven't done either of those and you are new around here and you want to take your firefighting career seriously and you want the best knowledge and education for yourself, then click the link in the description and sign up right now. This is probably going to be the last warning that I give you guys before I drop my offer. So if you're thinking about doing it on the fence, this is kind of your last reminder. So if you're on the fence, just do it. You can unsubscribe at any time you want. You don't have to stay on my newsletter or be a part of it. You could literally stay there until I drop what I want to drop, and then you can leave after you've got what you want. It doesn't really bother me. Of course, those of you that are here for the long run, we're going to go on a journey. I'm going to bring you guys with me. We're going to eventually hopefully get like a little community together, which I think was going to be brilliant. There's a lot of plans and a lot of ways that I want to take my future, and kind of I want to divert a little bit away from the fire service, as I know that I can benefit you guys a lot more in different ways. For example, I get a lot of questions about the gym. A lot of you guys are new into the gym, or you want advice on the gym. If you haven't bought my weighted vest, make sure you do. The link to that is in the description. That is an absolute game changer. I don't even need to talk too much about the weighted vest. Watch my video, how to train like a firefighter, if you want to know more about that. But yeah guys, that is it. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Comment any video ideas you want to see me do next, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.